Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
What do we have today? Not a lot, on my side at least. I'm sure Sebastian has some cool demos to make.
I could do some demo, but it's disappointing.
The only thing I had was a topic of discussion about maybe for Orchard 2.0, the possibility to use bits and pieces of Orchard inside of another application. It's never been a design goal, Orchard, so far, but more and more people kind of like what we are doing, but don't necessarily need the whole package. So maybe it would be interesting to think about how we can decouple some of the things that we have in Orchard, in the framework and core in particular, and use them in other applications. So I'm just launching the topic. I think it's interesting. It's definitely not something we've given a lot of thought to so far, but any opinions on that? Is it an interesting scenario? Do you see any obstacles to it?
Just to give an example, I've seen some customer want to use only the admin, for instance, and don't want to use the front end, and to give the admin to their authors and let them create the content, and either they will consume the content directly from their front end, or they would transform the database to their own schema and use their schema as is for performance reasons. So like they normalize everything and they can reuse the document as is. So that's some scenarios I've seen.
Or exposing APIs and data from Orchard, not really having a site.
Like exposing data, for instance, feeds. So it will be in an internal network, and it will just expose its endpoints to another server, which will be public. And this one will then query internally Orchard. So those are some solutions.
So we are speaking about decoupling functionality or pieces of the UI, or we are talking about framework like automatic dependency injection or some web frameworks.
I think both. But the first question should probably be, do we want to do that? Because so far we've always, people who are asking that, we were always answering, well, no, this is not how we designed it. We didn't design for that scenario, so you should probably not do it. But it's open source, so party on. If you want to try it, you can. But we are not going to be particularly helpful.
Well, also question is there something to do? So if they would just want to use the admin, let's go. Just use the admin and do whatever you want with the database that we generate. Other solution is if you want to reuse APIs or OData, should we do those OData feeds? Should someone look into it and provide a module for that? It's not.
Yeah, maybe the only thing we need to do is make sure that the scenario actually works. And maybe it already works. Yeah.
Maybe find some also customers who already do that, if there are.
Well, okay, if there is anyone doing something like that, we'd like to know about it. So anybody watching this video or who's in the group today, please tell us now or later. Okay, well, does anybody else have any remarks or questions on this? Okay, so let's move on. Sebastian, do you have any demos?
So I will show you what I did last week. status. Oh, first status on bug fixes and evolution. Let me check my log. So I included Orchard taxonomies into the core, Orchard.taxonomies and not contrib.taxonomies. The modifications I do on contrib.taxonomies are also applied on Orchard.taxonomies, and there will be a migration path from contrib.taxonomies to Orchard.taxonomies included in upgrade 1.7. What else? Fixed the moved the content menu item part, which was in core navigation, to ContentPicker because there was a circular dependency between modules, and also core navigation had a dependency on Content.Picker, so which is bad. This modification had me create a migration to move all the records from a table from core to a table to Content.Picker, but it's a migration step, automatic step, and I've tested it and it works. So it should be transparent to users. I also fixed the table. The table was a core _ content menu item part, something like that, and the new one will be now content _ picker _ content menu item part. So look at the migration from ContentPicker. Yeah. The old table will still be here if you come back from a previous installation, but it won't be used anymore because the part is removed. It's not used. Well, the record.
So that's getting rid of the circular dependency.
Yes. And I also created a binding redirection for Autofac 3000, even though the file version is 3010. I fixed a shell table bug. When you use a URL prefix, for instance, you have a tenant which is /tenant1 / something, and if you create a URL called /tenant1 foobar, it will think it's on the tenant1 tenant. So I fixed it. What else? I fixed another bug for a limitation on Orchard rules with the length of the fields. The fields are okay, but the model was not using the string length max. And fixed a bunch of unit tests. Then I also worked on the media manager, so the one I explained you last week, the design actually. So I worked on it, and I will show you the status right now. Sebastian has a log like a software. Remember last time? What? Okay. My log is Mercurial. That's it. Share screen. I should share screen. Share.
Oh, and by the way, Azure now supports Mercurial deployments. I don't know if that changes our intent to move to Git, but it will definitely make things easier for some people out there.
Look, cats. So this is the media manager. I enabled this is the beginning of the media manager. You can't even really use it right now. So you
can't see it yet. Well, I don't know. Benedict, can you see it? Okay.
What did he say?
He said yes.
He said yes. Okay. So so when you don't enable this module, the media link here will still be the previous one. When you enable this module, then the media becomes media manager, and I kept media storage here, which is the old one. Okay.
But new instances won't have the media storage
by default, but the feature might still be here if you want to use it, because it's still useful. But it will be a feature which won't be enabled by default, and Zoltan will have to say something, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we want to have just a hidden folder in the media folder that the users can't access, and the whole media management stuff could happen there. Modules could write there if they don't want the users to modify that.
Is there a way that you can fix your sound issue? There is like a beep every time you talk and some noise every week.
Yeah, because this meeting is rated for minors, so every second word of mine is beeped out.
Nice beep, 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 beep. It's annoying.
I really don't know.
So what was your question?
All right. So, can you understand me now?
I can understand, but it's annoying. Go on.
Great. All right. I will fix that later. All right. So, couldn't we just have a hidden media folder while the whole media management could leave? The users couldn't access it. Modules could write there if they don't want the users to fiddle with their files. And we could still have a pure media storage outside of that.
Yeah, maybe we could hide it. I'm not sure. Or use a folder name which looks system like $$$ media manager.
No. I mean like just with how is it? There's a hidden folder already in the media. It's just hidden from the media service. I mean.
Okay.
Receipt journals. It doesn't show up under media, but it's in the media folder.
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay, so we could add this one. I don't want. Oh yeah, well, it might be okay, but also might be interesting for people to be able to see those files if they know what they are. It's a feature which is not enabled by default, so and they can still access it by FTP. Why would we hide them? I understand we could want to hide them, or maybe it's an option: hide media manager files. This could be an option actually, because some people would care and some others wouldn't care. I like to see them. Okay, I will note it. Maybe make it an option to hide the media files. Okay.
Great.
So here the main navigation is about browsing all the media. So the categories here is a hierarchy. I already have some media items here. This one is blank, I don't know why. So the idea is that there is a hierarchy. So there is main here. I can create a new folder. I can call it, I don't know, dogs. Save, and you see it's a hierarchy. So now I am on dogs, main dogs, it's ugly, but it works. If I go on main, I see, if I go on main.
Ugly, it's dogs.
Yeah. and I can edit the folder, well, just folder management. And when I'm inside the folder, I can import stuff. And so from dogs, I will go to import. And here you can see all the providers, the import providers. This is where you will be able to select files from your computer by drag and dropping, web search. So if I click on my computer, I could now drag and drop files. This is not implemented. This was just to try to, well, just to verify that the whole system is working as expected and extensible. So here I could drag and drop. And when I go on web search, I could do some search on Bing, for instance. This works. This is what I've worked on to show you and to validate that everything is working. So those elements are currently extensible. So to do that, my computer web search or Flickr, Dropbox, FTP, whatever you will want to do, in the media manager, there is in the module, there is a providers folder, and you can see that the client storage menu is a iNavigation provider, which generates links in the media providers menu. So this is a typical iNavigation provider, but it will populate this menu. So here I have my computer and web search, and you see here my computer and web search. So the web search will link to a specific controller for this functionality and a specific action, and also rules, and also permissions. So here, when I click on web search, it will open this action in a frame which is here. So this is a frame. You will see it. This is an iframe. Okay, which means this is completely independent from the rest of the page. And I can have postbacks and everything. So in this example, this feature, if I type dog and I click search, will show me a set of dogs. Okay. So it's just a Bing API, so I'm displaying the thumbnail and the name of the file and the size. And you see when I click on the right, I have the properties of the file, dimensions, file name, size. I can open the page which contains this image, maybe to check if there is some copyright on it. And I can also open the full image like this. Okay, just simple features. And here I see the import button and I see the selected image. And if you press Control key, you can also select multiple images. Okay, and they will appear on the right. If I still keep clicking on something on the selection, I can see the details here from this image. And if I select a file which is not in the selection, it will reset the selection. But I can still have multiple images. So here I have selected 5 images. Okay. If I want to unselect, I control click on this one and it will be removed. And I can control click again to add it back. And when I click import, there is no visual feedback right now. There is a console log feedback here. Console log is my new friend. Thanks to Bertrand.
Welcome.
If I click import, you will see it's importing the 5 images. Done, 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 done. So they're all done. We could show little progress or a cycling GIF above the images to see what is done. And so it has been imported. And to import those things, there is an Ajax call which is done to this specific controller for web search, which is using a media service. So this web search, I'm just calling image post with the URL I want to import, the URL which is external, so it's specific to the web search module. And I'm just downloading the data. And here from the media manager service, I say import stream. I just give a file name, where the location where I want to import this file, so the folder, and the stream itself. And the media manager service will do everything it needs to import it as a content item. What it needs to do is to call all media handlers. So here we have media handlers. Where are they? How did I do it? I'm lost in my own code. Oh, factory, sorry. They are called image factory selector. So an image factory selector is a way to import a stream. And I have one implementation right now, which is image factory selector. Sorry, there is a media factory selector, and I made an image factory selector. And this one just says, okay, when someone tries to create a media, I will tell you if I can import it. So it calls get media factory with the stream and the MIME type of the stream. And then this one says, okay, if the MIME type starts with image, doesn't start with image, I can do anything. Otherwise, I will give you something which can import this content. So it's a media factory selector result, priority -5, which gives an image factory. The priority is important because you could say, oh, you want to provide a custom factory for JPEG files. And those JPEG files will have a custom importation. So they will take over the default image factory. So you can, in the context, when you import a stream, there can be multiple factories and they will be prioritized. So
more than one, can they be changed?
I thought about that, but in the end, you need only one content item, and they create content items. So I don't remember my the process from which I chose the decision, but
I suppose the way you would do it is that you would actually create one content item, so you would have only one importer that would win, but then later when you use those images, you could have multiple filters and...
Let's raise an event then. Let's raise an event when the content item has been created from a media, and then let other handlers do whatever they want on the content item.
Okay.
That would be
but my point was that I think that in most cases you will actually want to let the filters later do any further processing when you access the images.
So because here it's to create the content type. So here it will say, okay, I'm an image importer, so I will create a content type named image. Okay, and media part is mandatory for all media content items. And then what it says, it creates this item, set the title, the MIME type, and the resource because it has a media part. That's it. So this is how it works. So when it calls here import stream, the service layer is doing everything it needs to create a content item using all the providers. And so it's done. So if I close the importer and I go to dogs, I see the dogs I've imported. And now they are in my media library. They are content items. So next step is to, when I click on them, I see the editor here and I can edit the metadata and provide the editor for those content items directly here. And also editions for editing the image itself.
Is that editor zone going to be maybe a little small?
Maybe. That's why there will be a edit which will go in a full mode and you can even change the content of the image, like cropping and everything. Things like
maybe this should just display some properties. And
maybe some of them, because you can still edit some things here. If you look at WordPress, you see caption, alt text, description, they can still do it there.
Yeah.
It's quick, just to, I don't know. Or maybe there will be nothing to do with, I don't know. Discussed. We'll see. At least to display, you want just to display and...
Can you go back to the WordPress screen for a second? Why does there appear to be more real estate?
Yeah, they don't have a menu on the left because they are in an overlay. So that's more space for them.
This is a select box. We will have it too. Here I'm just in the media management.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm trying to count the different ways it's different here. The thumbnails are smaller, and they give themselves a little more width in that zone.
So maybe we want to do that. We want to get more real estate for this and not be blocked by the left-hand navigation.
I agree, but
we will have it.
Those images here are real content items, so we problem that they don't have, which is that potentially that editor could be quite large. Do we need to worry about that now? I don't know.
I designed it so we will have another page to edit the content item, because it will need a full page to edit the content item.
Okay, so how about that? We said that we would introduce tabs in editors. So maybe what you see here in the rapid edit vision is what is in a specific tab that we have a convention on, and then you have a button to go into full edit mode, and then you have whatever there is.
So it can be a short editor, or maybe just display an edit button. When you click on edit, you go to edit the content item.
It's quite nice that you can edit the title and description from there.
So maybe what is common to every media should be there.
Yeah.
And what is specific, because we need to be able someday, for instance, to crop an image. So we need to go to click edit and go to a full screen mode for editing the image.
Yep.
Applying filters, cropping, resizing, things like that. And also changing the content associated to it, because we might need a full body on this one. So, and we can't display the full body here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just first week of work. So, and I also worked on the internal, so there is still a lot of work to do here. And this is not the select screen. The picker will be in a full mode like this thing. Okay. This is just this will be the same screen but as a picker, and I don't see people using this screen directly. They will go into picker. So when you are in the new page, you say insert, and this thing will be in a full screen.
Yeah, so the picker will actually be nicer than the media manager.
Yes. This is the same page, the same behavior, the same controller, the same view.
With more real estate.
Yes. And
context.
But it's already very nice when you create a website to be able to go to your say stuff like import, web search. Hey, I want some cats. Oh, let me insert a cat in my blog post. Oh, this one. Import, done. I like it.
Yeah. Yep. We look at more categories for the rest of the.
Sorry?
I was going to say, should we spend the rest of the hour looking at
cats?
Cats?
Ugly cats, yeah. Ooh. This is a cat. Oh, crazy. Okay. No, we don't have to.
Okay, thanks.
But I'm using Knockout for that, and it's very nice. Knockout is
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, maybe we should say a few things about that. Yeah, there is a lot of client-side interaction going on here. So we discussed a little about what we should do to do that, and I don't know, you want to talk about that? We determined that Knockout was a good fit for us. It doesn't mean that we are prescribed Knockout for anything that happens on the client in our child, but we do is kind of de facto description, so we should probably justify that a little bit, I think.
So for this feature, I'm not sure. So I don't want a feature to impose the library to use to other modules.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now it's just importing the JS file from each view which needs it, which means the web search needs Knockout, it's importing Knockout. If the my folder, my client storage needs something else, it will use something else. So there is no high dependency from Media Manager to a specific dedicated thing. And I like to keep it this way because everyone will can come with his own solution and his own module, which doesn't mean that we don't need also to have a module which provides this specific library. So if we want, we can link it. And there is a Knockout module on the gallery right now.
Yeah.
It's about maybe the option of having, right now, we have Orchard or jQuery. We also talked a while back about having a module that exposes more, not just jQuery, but things like Knockout and maybe other useful scripts. I came across the need for Knockout a couple of times before, and but I don't want to have one module for one library.
Okay, and this looks fine to me, and so have an official release with resource definitions for mainstream libraries, jQuery, and I don't know, Lightbox and things like that. Okay, this is doable. Yeah, I agree. So that actually people can rely on that and expect that all the modules rely on the same version and don't use something from the gallery, which is different than one or chart chips.
Yes.
Okay, let's vote.
Let's what?
Let's vote.
Wow.
Should we have a module with source definitions for the common libraries that we use? And we can.
Should it be jQuery?
Okay, and we can talk about what we want in there. Should we have one, I don't know, Orchard libraries or something like that?
I think they should just live in jQuery.
Okay.
Personally, Nick, by the way.
I'm Nick.
Why? Nick, why is that?
Because, well, it depends on what the library is. I mean, but for example, if you're talking about Tagit, I know that's one that we spoke about before. That should live in the jQuery library, I personally believe. If it's going to be common across the whole of Orchard, and its sole dependence is jQuery, then it should live in the jQuery module.
And what about script libraries that aren't dependent on jQuery?
That's fair. That's a fair point. But I'm not a big fan of these huge common libraries.
I agree with Nick to a point where if Orchard in and of itself is using a library, i.e. the example that was brought up with Knockout, that should be explicitly shared to the community so that they know that they can take advantage of it since it's already there and not necessarily overload themselves with an additional library. That being said, the whole modularity of Orchard is so that you can plug in whatever it is you want and should be able to do so. So sort of not creating that strict line between the two.
I would add to this that scripts are common resources, which is why it's important that the ones that are likely to be used by more than one module are in a central place.
Yeah, I agree.
Just wanted to make the precision.
My suggestion, personal thinking, is that we should have a different library, a different module for those libraries, and not have a dependency on the jQuery module. And if they want to register some script from this new library, which needs jQuery, then they say, I want this library, and I want also jQuery.
So in the example of Tagit, I think it has a dependency on jQuery, not sure. But if it has, where should that one live? It is being used for taxonomies. And it could be useful for other modules.
Yeah, we could.
Okay. We start talking about the libraries that we already use. Let's close on the decision to have a module with the libraries. Do we agree on that? Anyone disagrees?
Can you say that again? Sorry, Bertrand.
Does anyone disagree with the fact that we need a module? I'm kind of slanting it here. Does anyone disagree with the decision of creating a module with those libraries as resources?
When you put it that way, it's hard to disagree.
Okay, how should I put it?
I'm not sure.
I don't disagree. What I'm against is these monolithic modules that have a huge amount of stuff that just ends up getting poured into them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Orchard, is that doesn't happen.
Because maybe the question is not about modules, but about documentation.
Well, the other issue is, what about versioning? Like, what if right after 1.7 ships with a certain version of Knockout, 2 weeks later, a better version of Knockout comes out? So how do you rev it?
Well, actually, it's all about versioning, because if you have one module that depends on one version and another module that depends on another version, what do you do? So the whole idea is actually that there is a reference version number that we kind of prescribe. That's
yeah, that's a good point. If we have a standard set, and then but how do we rev that module when we might want to rev it more often than the main Orchard core? So then you have these two different versions of different things.
Make sure they're backwards compatible.
Yeah, I mean that's the issue. Is like if you want to rev the module,
like everything else, if you're interested in having the layer, then you have a clone that is synced to the 1x branch, and you get it from there.
Yeah, your module don't use this thing. Just use your file.
Okay, so several things to decide.
We do it today with jQuery. All the modules in Orchard which depend on jQuery use the jQuery in our child, which is 1.8.
Okay.
Because we know it works, and we didn't upgrade for 1.6 to a new jQuery because we knew it will break some modules. So it will be the same here. Media Manager could use a dependency on the new module because it has knockout inside, and we know it works with this knockout version. And if you don't want to use this module, don't use it.
Well,
Yeah.
On any given page, you can have multiple widgets, for example, that use the same library, and you will have only one version of the library that is going to go down to the client. So you need a way for them to agree, and this is how we've done it on jQuery, and we would do the same for those other libraries. Okay, so does anyone think that we should have one module per library?
No.
I say no.
No.
Nick?
Too many modules.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a pain in the ass having multiple libraries per module, but at the same time, big monolithic modules are a pain in the ass at the same, as well.
Why?
Is having all these libraries in one module placing too much dependency on each? Is that placing a dependency on each library?
No. It's just defining a manif. It's just defining a manif. Look at the jQuery module.
Yeah.
I realize. I know that, but
Script files and manifest. That's it.
True. Apart from when you upgrade one library, you've got to make sure all the other ones work. I'm only playing devil's advocate here. So think about all the other modules out there, right? If I upgrade jQuery, then the other libraries in the system are all versions, so I know which one I need to pull down for that particular one. Whereas if I go and update jQuery in Orchard, I therefore need to go check all these other libraries inside this one big monolithic module. Maybe I'm not explaining myself very well.
I don't see how having one module changes anything. You will have to verify that anyway.
Would it be an option to maintain multiple versions? So we have, for example, 2 jQuery versions, 1.8, 1.9. We will have both files and 2.
You can't.
You can't. Why?
No, you can't,
Why?
because if you have, let's say, 2 widgets on the page, one that depends on jQuery 1.9, one that depends on jQuery 1.8, are you going to load both?
It won't work.
Well, you can make it work, but it's stupid.
No, you don't want that, of course. My reasoning was because you have this require call, and that you could target a specific version. But that's a good point. If you have 2,
yeah, when you require by library name, not by a specific version.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So Orchard makes the decision of which version you will get. I'm sure when you upgrade, that may break modules. Yes. It's DLL hell all over, but what are you going to do? It's an eternal problem that nobody has solved so far, and we are not going to solve it. We are just going to choose our poison. That's it.
So maybe we should not include script libraries that we are not using in Orchard, as Elon suggested, and just include, knockout, jQuery, tag it.
Oh, I'm not saying that we should include all the libraries that exist out there. That's absurd. We should include the ones that we do use in core, absolutely. But that's already a large set. I mean, there are libraries that we use today using script includes in core, if I'm not mistaken. The hierarchical drag and drop, for example. I think that's included, not required. So that's one candidate to go into that new module. Tag it is another, since we have the taxonomies improvements. Knockout would be another, and there may be a couple others. So
exactly.
So should it be inside of the existing jQuery module, or should it be a module besides it?
It would be more practical to put it in jQuery, but it's called jQuery, and this module is going to become more than just jQuery.
Yeah, not every library will, be dependent on jQuery, so that could create confusion. So maybe just have a module called Orchard.resources or Orchard.client or Orchard.scripts or something.
Yeah, exactly. And what if we phased out jQuery at some point because it's just defining it has a resource manifest. You reference it by name. Nobody should be adding a reference to Orchard, the jQuery project itself, right? So I'm suggesting we could rename it or create a new module and then at some point migrate over the jQuery files to the new module.
Yeah, okay, so if we go with Orchard.scripts, I'd like us to make sure that we don't just end up taking the flavor of the month and putting it in there. I know we're pretty strict on what we do, but it's just something to bear in mind.
BEAR.
Huh?
I think at this point we're all in agreement.
Okay.
It's been debated and agreed upon, and Nick's point is right. Not just to toss any, flavor of this, of the month in there. Agreed. But specifically, I think if Orchard is using it, and we've all agreed that that's what is using it, to put it in there so people have it as a resource.
It's a dependency like DLRs. Like .NET dependencies are dependencies, and we should always be careful with new dependencies.
On top of that, if we're going to introduce knockout, is there stuff that we can deprecate? I'm thinking maybe there's something in knockout that could deprecate target.
Really?
Essentially.
Really?
The question is not potentially, is really?
I think so. I don't know. It's just a thought. I thought I saw something. Maybe I was wrong. Okay.
I've never seen anything in knockout, but I don't know it that well. But
okay, all right. Well, then I'm probably wrong. I don't know knockout that well either. So.
As far as I understand, knockout does MVVM, so bindings and stuff, and some templating.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on. We're done for demos, right? Announcements. Triage.
I could give a short demo if we have time after the meeting with Redis implementation in Orchard.
How much time do you need?
5 minutes.
What do you want to show?
Redis? Yes, Redis with SignalR.
It's a service. There is no UI. There is nothing to show.
Yes, it is. Like MemKSD, yeah. So, but I plugged in Redis-based path for SignalR, so you can communicate from command line with
SignalR.
Yes. So now or later?
Yeah, go for it. While you set up, there is some discussion in the chat window about the name of that new module. Should it be Orchard.scripts? Something that's descriptive enough, and we already have server-side scripting, so it's confusing. So I vote against that. Orchard resources, I think that's too vague as well. I would say Orchard.client libraries. Does anybody have objections to that?
It's okay. Yeah.
It's not good. It's just okay. It's just okay. That's
so it will only include script files. It will not include style sheets and icons, as Piotr suggested.
No, why not? Client libraries doesn't mean just script.
So you said orchard.libraries is what you said?
Orchard.client libraries.
Maybe orchard.assets. It's broad as orchard.resources, but
Yeah,
I don't like the word client.
I like resources.
Resources could be server.
Yeah, I don't like the word client though. Maybe just call it scripts.
Say no.
Yeah, but scripts. You also have a server-side scripting infrastructure. So
It's called scripting.
I don't know. Think of a name and just do it.
okay, Piotr, are you ready?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to share my screen. Tell me when you'll see it. Can you see the screen? Okay.
Yep.
Not just yet, Piotr.
Okay. Just tell me when.
I think, Nick, I think all the packet filters.
Oh yeah, just go. Don't worry about me. I'll,
Nick, I think the British government is packet filtering
my connection's really bad.
everything that's coming out in and out of your home and monitoring it and censoring it and sanitizing it for you British citizens.
It seems the problem is Europe-wide.
Yeah, they're so draconian over there. They learned it from Hungary.
I got the black rectangle now. That's a progression.
Okay, so basically, I wrapped up a quick module around Redis based.
What is Redis?
Okay, so starting from the beginning, Redis is it's more than memcached. It's an in-memory database that allows persistence. So it's basically like memcached on steroids. So it allows you to store. It's redis.io page. It allows to store complex data structures, a pub sub model, so you can subscribe to some events that happen on Redis and they're pushed to the subscriber and so on. So it's but it's supposed to run on Linux, but there is a fork on GitHub that guys from Microsoft did, and there is a Redis on Windows prototype. I'm running it locally. It's just like memcached daemon, so it runs as a service, and you have an entry point that you have to connect to, and there is a library. Client library for .NET to access it. Similar to what we have with memcached, but more. So and the SignalR has the guys from SignalR implemented the Redis-based distributed event bus, so you can have multiple instances of a web application that use SignalR so if you send a message over a SignalR connection, it will get all nodes that are connected to Redis will get it. So all clients. So if you're a client connected to a website, it doesn't matter to what node you're connected. At this point, you will receive a message that's being sent from any other node. And this allows scenarios like I have a locally set up page that uses SignalR for notifications, but I also have an Orchard command line opened up. It's a separate process. It's a totally separate thing. But it uses the same connection data. It connects to the same Redis database. So I created a command that allows you to send some information, for example, to clients. So let's say SignalR send. You put a connection name and the message, which can be a JSON string. That's parsed on the client side. So, for example, I can do something like this. I have a notification connection. It's an ordinary SignalR connection that just spits out a notification using Toaster library. It's just for displaying toast, like you can see on Stack Overflow on the top when you reach some goal, and it just displays a notification on the top. So I can, for example, send a message with a JSON string like title, message, and type info, and it displays on the page. So because all nodes, this is just one node setup, but I can run it in the WebGarden mode locally as well. I've tested it that way, and it works pretty nice. So you can basically notify all nodes on the farm. It's just a nice UI thing. So if I change it to warning, it will display something like this. So it's just this notification is just for showcasing the what's happening. But you can, for example, change something on the client side, like you do with SignalR normally. It's just a distributed bus for SignalR. And the good side is that you can communicate with page from command line. And it's already implemented in SignalR core, so it's well tested and it works. The only drawback is that if you want to run the Redis database instance on Windows, you have to use the prototype. It's still a prototype, but it works pretty nice. So yeah, that's all.
Cool. Very nice.
I'm planning to implement something like so from a command line interface you could not only send but also subscribe to some messages. So it could open up a nice new possibilities like monitoring instances from command line. Dumping some information in real time to some log. One log, not using log on each node. Because SignalR is very lightweight and Redis is lightweight as well, and it's very fast. It's like it can handle 100,000.
Yeah, but Orchard is not lightweight; it's not fast. So.
Yeah, I know. yeah, I know. So, but so in comparison, so SignalR, so sending something over a SignalR connection just takes no time in comparison to Orchard request. So yeah, that's all.
Thanks.
Should we think about making Orchard a bit leaner? It's quite heavyweight at the moment. I mean,
yeah, do we?
You could delete all the comments, for example, from the source code.
Yeah, we can remove the comments. It's.
I'm not talking about the size of the files. I'm not talking about minifying stuff. I'm just talking about the time it takes for Orchard to start up.
So what you can do is so startup time.
Use the core.
If you don't link to any assembly, you gain half the time of cheating. And if you don't do any database requests, you also gain the other half, so it will start instantaneously. So what you need is the bakery template from ASP.NET. You don't need Orchard.
Yep.
If you want Orchard, you need all those libraries and you need all those SQL queries. Good luck. Or another solution, you can create a GitHub account and edit the Markdown files and host it on GitHub Pages.
That's what we do for documentation, by
yes, and it's very fast. The startup time
super
is
fast.
yes.
Yep. And at start,
but
it even generates a search index.
Yeah, the only drawback you have with this solution is that you don't have a SignalR module.
Oh, well then. Damn.
We still love you.
Well, you know, it just sounds like all those things are workarounds. I was talking a little bit more about actually making it leaner. It's only an idea.
Do you have an idea how to do that?
I haven't got an answer. I just put it out there just as a topic. That was all.
And we are doing that with every release. Every release is faster.
Clayless.
Okay.
Transaction scopeless.
That's a perfect example of that. That already. Really.
And v2.0 will be inner joinless.
Yeah. Getting rid of relational databases is probably the most efficient way of doing what you suggest. It's be easy.
Okay.
As Orchard runs on Raspberry.
If you can make it run on Mono, yeah, we could make it run. We don't. So you would probably have to rely on an external database.
SQL
well, it does run with MySQL. You can run MySQL on Raspberry Pi.
Must be fun. Okay, Triage.
Yep. I'm actually moving some of my Windows machines to Raspberry Pis at home. I have less and less PCs, more Raspberry Pis.
Okay. So it's okay, I will close it. I think the solution is to define a resource in the theme. I think this is, so it's not a bug, it's just how to do it. So he wants to be able to register some style from his module, but they are defined in the theme. So if you create a resource manifest in your theme, which is a module, and your module is requiring those manifests, then the theme will provide the correct February. Wow, we reached February. Great. On fire memcache the expected magic value. What? Wait, Joe. What is this? After the site was shut down and restarted, is a restaurant expected magic value 129. I don't know. One stop. Have you seen that? Few content types enable list modules. The module is cache. Okay, valued. Okay, the value in memcache. Okay.
One issue is I don't think it's supported to run.
No, this is wrong. He put in this text area localhost. This is the web server. This is not the memcached server.
Yeah. You're right. But also, he shouldn't have contrib cache memcached and contrib cache database enabled at the same time.
Also, because we will win. You are using one.
Yeah, tell him to decide which he wants, memcache or the database one. The database one, I think you just did as a proof of concept, like academic. I don't see why someone would want to use that though, Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I want to use that. This is concept, but it's also a nice, simple solution for the output caching. If you have a farm and you don't want to set up a memcached, it works. Each request on your server side, on your server, will do one query on a database.
Yeah.
So that's a viable solution.
It's interesting to think about too, though. When you coded that one, if you have syscache enabled, that the queries could end up being cached. I don't know if your thing bypasses that, but if your implementation bypasses
no, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. It's fine. So you could have the cache in the database, but if the server knows that the database hasn't changed, let's load it again. That's right. That would be fine.
So it could actually be viable.
But wait, like if you use a database caching, it's for farm scenarios. Okay. If you use syscache, you're not working for farm, so don't use syscache if you use exactly a contrib.cache database.
True, but my point is that you wouldn't be hitting the actual database because of syscache. That's all. Yep. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but no, you don't want to do that. No, don't use syscache and contrib.cache.database. Point. Reduce the navigation area doesn't show menu build through iMenu providers. Okay, it seems they are providing a fix. See that. Okay, having iNotification provider checking setting can cause issues and update. What is this? Made it, but
why are they doing that?
error banners. Okay. So that's what he says. accent area. What?
I doubt that very much.
I created
Really?
I created it and so if so.
Wouldn't that break pretty much everything?
It's action. Let me see what I wrote. I don't even remember that when writing this in summary. When writing this in a summary admin, it works, but doesn't when using HTML action link instead.
Yeah, most of the time we use URL action. We rarely use action link actually, so it might.
Yeah, I think I looked at the.
Might go unnoticed.
Yeah, I think there is no override for overload for the. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, if I create it, I trust myself.
Was there any update on Orchard Harvest?
None at this time.
Okay.
Well, no more decisions.
Well, what are we close to narrowing down a date so people
Yes.
can plan travel?
Date and location, but it's not fixed, so it's not decided yet. It's rolling down the solutions, but not validated. By the way, if you have a spare $2,000, we can use it. Okay.
I thought porn was free, Sebastian.
Sorry?
I thought porn was free.
Okay, I can. Or we should ask a bit.
OData.
Activating filter.
Don't do that.
No, we have some examples to do that. We have some examples. Oh, it's activated. We have some examples, so let me see. I don't see the issue of running site settings. So I'm using a part. role with email action owner gets 2 emails. This is sad. So step to please default message from modules is published. Okay. So it's possible that we have.
Is that the comments code, or is that the oh, wait, no, I misread it. Sorry.
This is sending, and then whatever this is sending. And if I go to this one,
maybe the.
sending well, yeah, I know, I agree. Need to fix it. Okay, let's see it. Sensation state behavior. I know who's the culprit. I won't say that is Poland. Incorrect. The editor for the title field, the title pattern says you must provide a unique title for its contact type, which is wrong. Yes, I agree. Boo. So he's saying, let's do source code.
Has anyone tried to get you to do that, just out of interest? Has anyone actually tried to get you to do MSDN documentation?
Anyone? You? Someone from the community?
No, I mean in terms of because obviously it was Microsoft. And I see that
Autocurve doesn't care.
MSDN.
And SignalR is Microsoft, and Orchard is Autocurve. And there is no Autocurve documentation. What I suggest is look at my answer. Look at my answer.
I just wondered if anyone had ever tried to pressure you to do that. That was all.
We have no pressure at all for any reason. For any reason, we do whatever we want. But go on GitHub. More is always better. Okay. First, more is always better. MSDN-like documentation is good for framework developed with and inside Visual Studio. Okay, this is also the case with Orchard. Okay, there are reasons to code with Orchard, but very few. A good documentation will be more useful. A good documentation will be more useful. So let's say that this has higher priority. So before doing the MSDN style documentation, which will take time, take this time to do proper product documentation. And maybe document the APIs and everything, and later do it in MSDN style, because
Yeah, I don't think MSD ends a priority at all.
Okay,
I just
but
wanted, that was all.
in a future version, when we have doc, or do it.
Style cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
File insert from blog post. I like to do a file insert on a blog post, but it gives an image by adding image tag inside. Okay, what?
We're talking about the HTML editor. Maybe. Yes, that's the answer.
So you mean by using media picker for HTML? Yes, okay.
That will be fixed by the new media picker, won't it?
I hope. We'll see. Projection with media picker.
Will the new media picker work on the? Will it work outside of the admin screens?
I don't. It could, but I'm not sure I will do custom work for that because it exposes some admin controllers and to upload images with admin rights. So
I only wonder because of the forums module. It needs a media picker at some point.
So maybe it's better to implement it as part of media picker field, custom, specifically targeting front end.
Yeah, I started looking at it that way.
Because there will be so many features in this one that you don't want to expose it to users.
Yeah, but if you're using the admin stuff, I don't know. It's worth the thought anyway.
Yes. So you either need to there is a token for that. Tiny editor. Yeah, after working on it.
Yeah, there is a fairly easy way to implement that using client storage.
Yeah, we should have auto backup module.
Yeah, not just for TinyMCE, but
auto backup module for yeah, it's a feature. Yeah. Okay.
What about using some? I've seen some implementations where, like, it'll say a JavaScript change. It'll say, "Do you want to stay on the page or leave?"
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, this isn't the issue actually. This is when you lose the. Oh no, this is the issue.
You won't get an alert if your computer fails, has a blue screen of death, or your battery dies, or whatever.
Right, but you will get one if you press
local storage will always work.
Yeah.
So yeah, autosave feature using local storage, but we can also.
I like that.
And we can also.
And I hate to see those alerts when I.
Yeah. You're right, Bertrand. I agree with you. I just, it's better than nothing, but I agree. Local storage is a better implementation. for sure.
It's very easy to do. That's so easy.
SignalR autosave.
No, forget SignalR.
SignalR. Just
Look.
do it on the client side.
You
On my
just out of interest,
I did that on my shopping cart just to make it persistent, whereas it was session-based before, and it works beautifully.
And the workflow module is doing that everywhere, because when you edit an activity, it saves the content, and same thing for the editor. It just serializes the form and send it for Ajax. We just have to save it. That's so easy.
It's not even disruptive. You only implement it on the client side. Your server-side code doesn't even have to change. It's really nice.
What's nice about it too, you just make it seamless. You just do it in the background, and the user doesn't even know it's happening.
Yep.
We could display a little pop-up.
I think the restoration, we might want the restoration to
display
okay.
it.
Like we say, okay, well, there is a more recent version of this on your that we stored. You want to restore it. This is the way Office is doing it.
Yeah, like when Word crashes. Yeah. The recovery. Yeah.
Are you happy with TinyMC being our first choice editor, by the way?
Yes, it's beautiful. And if you don't like it, add some more plugins. There are very beautiful plugins that you can use.
One of the first things I do
on
the new site is to switch to Markdown.
No, but
it's not for everyone.
There are some modules that we should or customize. Like there is a plugin to clean the stuff you paste, for instance.
Yeah.
There is also one to clean the formatting, so a little eraser. You can also configure it to display custom styles in the drop-down using style sheets and also custom tagging. So you could say, when I select this style, it will use the tag you decide and the classes you decide. So it will
also render using the style sheet of the front end instead.
You can do that, yeah. So yeah, I think that is.
I know there's a lot of customizability around it. Sometimes I look at it and I just think it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit overwhelming when you just come to look at it. It's a bit, I don't know, a bit horrible. If that just doesn't feel very user-friendly.
Do some little research and give us some images of other things that you would like to see, and just to talk about that.
No, not CK editor, Pieta.
Oh, I was about to. No, I want to. What is this about? Contains few things that seem editing, such as reference web pages. I can't know right now. When I try to remove the references to.
No, but if we do that, aren't we going to break modules that were bound previously?
That's the issue.
We don't want to do that.
For 2.0, maybe.
I would close it. This is a misunderstanding. We are actually doing the right thing here. There is actually no good reason to do it, except to please the eye, I suppose. That's not a bug, it's...
What? I have a content type which has given content part. Play the content item, all the nice URLs.
By design?
Why?
Change the auto route. Oh.
No.
Oh no, item display ID. Containers, item display ID. He should check his auto route configuration.
Repro.
Oh, it's probably because I had the same. The container, the handler for the container part overrides the metadata and your URLs start to look different.
And take my comment into account. So. Media admin, fuck you.
It's not good enough.
This is beautiful. Why would you change that? Future version.
Did we introduce a select all? By the way, I saw that you put some JavaScript on.
I think a guy proposed a patch to add select all everywhere. So it's somewhere in the backlog of things to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It will be done. Yes, selecting multiple images, I like it. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, okay. Let's close it.
Interesting. He's got a fork as well.
Sorry.
Who was that?
I don't know. What is that? He's very well. I don't know his name, but his nickname is very well known. So, it's like Jetski17, what I don't know, or Snowman, or just anonymous guys, hackers. Implement hierarchy tokens. Okay, so there with a uppercase T is a case where I want to render an format based on a set of rules. Different format. Okay, at the moment it works with one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so conditional tokens.
Yes. Yes.
Tokens are the whole separate topic, I think. Once I tried to implement the list token, so to just to make it work kind of like link, but it's pretty hard. So it's pretty complicated. It gets complicated really fast.
At what point should you implement a route? Simply a route.
So well, hold on. So this particular issue was around addresses. And assigning a URL, a different URL, if the address was an international address rather than a local address. Just if you wanted context around this issue, and the problem was that the URL can't change because of that.
Okay, so why don't you implement a token then?
I was just about to propose.
I did implement a token, but it didn't quite work the way I expected it to. But then thinking about it, why did it not work? I can't remember. I'll have to rethink. I'll have to remember exactly. It was quite a while ago. It was December.
No. Future. We'll see. We'll talk about conditional tokens someday. Automated data export. It's the guy who... No. It was Damien something. Congratulations.
Well, he says it's my first contribution, so I'm
okay.
Congratulating him. Just being polite, I'm sorry.
Automated data
There's zero information in there.
Automated data export. Curious. What is? Can someone explain me? I'm trying to get automated data export working via HTTP.
What does it mean, automated data export?
That's my question. Don't repeat my question.
It looks like he's trying to set up a feed that will render the recipe with exported data over some URL.
So it's not a post, it's a get, and you still get the file, but just a get. This is. Good question. Does it work today? Okay, we have it. Import, export. It's returning the string. Okay, so this I don't care. No, this is a module. So how do we answer that? Close? Yeah. I still have to do it though. Review and update the CodeGen output project files. I don't know why, but I was sure. The process of updating token seems a bit of a...
It works, yeah.
And sometimes by simplifying, you break stuff. Be careful with your unit test. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's just I think I discussed it with Bertrand a while ago, a couple of weeks ago. We had quite a few problems with tokens, and just my thought that it could be revised at some point.
Yeah, but you need to be a little more specific than that.
Yeah, I know. I actually forgot.
If it's about performance, I trust you. Do something, and we'll see.
Okay.
So if you...
Okay, so Antoine is saying that it actually works.
It's a different HTML tag.
Who cares?
So which one will you take then?
The text field said in the description. Take the text field and implement what's missing from the input field.
What's missing?
The ability to turn it into HTML5 input
A numeric field or No, numeric is not a good example.
That's a different type, right?
You should have
but the input
a number. You should have a number field for that. Well, yeah, but it's wrong to do it in input field. Users have no clue what HTML5 is. How do you explain that to them?
So should we remove the input field?
Yes.
In a separate feature module?
If you want, but we shouldn't have text field and input field.
So we make a Orchard input field on the gallery, and we remove it from the Orchard core. No, because it will still break people.
Yeah.
So what if we merge the input field with the text field? That's
no, but
in
this
core.
is the same issue. It will break people.
Yeah.
No, not if you have a migration.
That's true.
Yeah, but merge. What? No, if we remove input field, we remove input field. Then we can't migrate them because to what? Oh, I was using a number, and then you want to put me in the text, and
that's
it's
why
not
you
even.
need to implement on the text field what makes input field necessary today. So you move those features over.
So it's making the text field an input field.
Or a text area.
And then the input field doesn't handle text area, or then we introduce numbers into the text field. So no, that's not what we want.
No, numbers should be a separate field.
Yeah, but input field provides that.
It shouldn't.
I don't think so. I think we have a separate number field or numeric field, and the input field.
Think about scenarios. Your user wants a field that contains numbers. So you give him a number field, a numeric field. Your user wants to enter, I don't know, some text with some validation.
Email.
He uses a text field. HTML5 is not something that we want to expose the end user to.
But the end user will see a drop-down list. Do you want to render it as an email field or a telephone field or what else you have? Password, maybe.
You should present field types that correspond to the scenarios that users have. Mm-hmm. Not some technical implementation detail that they know nothing about.
Okay, but the migration is an issue here.
I understand.
Because it's also about custom templates and. Okay, let's do that and document how to migrate. Remove your templates and use this one.
I guess we already spoken about it.
Yes, I'm just looking at some implementation.
It will be a breaking change, but
there is no database. There is no database, which is good. it's not really a breaking change because you still, well, the dependencies are on Orchard.tokens. Okay.
Okay, so let's do one more. That will be 30, and let's stop here. Let's make this the last one. What are we supposed to see here?
Okay, done.
Thanks. So how many do we have? How many proposed do we have after triage?
Proposed after triage, 77.
Okay.
Active. Just 144.
Oh. Okay. Well, thanks everyone, and see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
guys. See you next week.
Bye bye.